Hey folks, I am Kevin Iole, and of course, I know you know who that is. That is the champ, Julianna Peña, one of the biggest upsets in recent times. Julianna's probably not going to say it was an upset. She called her shot, but according to the sports books, it was an upset. She defeated Amanda Nunes, and now she's going to fight her once again on Saturday in Dallas in the main event of UFC 277. Julianna, welcome. Got to be heady times being you these days. Everywhere you go, everybody's patting you on the back for beating the GOAT.
Yes. Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me. And, champ life is good life.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you got done filming The Ultimate Fighter. You spent a couple of weeks going nose to nose with Amanda. What is that like? What is it like that we don't see on camera? Like, is there any things that happen that you could share that, kind of give you an insight into what makes her tick?
I just make her tick. I know that because I remember catching her in her van outside of my practice, like peering through the windows. And it was a long time before we finally realized that we were being spied on. And we were like, hey, and then they turned on the lights and they backed the car up in reverse and they sped away. I was like, I intrigue her. I obviously got her in her, she's thinking about me.
Right.
And I think that that's probably what makes her tick. Just me in general, I think is what is enough to make her tick.
A lot of times when a big underdog wins the first fight, you almost have to win that rematch, to prove it was legitimate. I mean, and that's kind of an unfair thing because beating a great fighter twice in a row is difficult to do. How do you go about doing this? I mean, obviously you came up with the perfect game plan the first time. And I have to be honest, when you were slugging it out before you submitted her, I'm going, oh boy, this is not going to be good for Julianna. And then sure enough, it was not good for one of you, but it wasn't you. But how do you go about it a second time? Do you have to change the plan of attack, or does the same thing work?
Well, I appreciate your honesty, Kevin. And I think that that's a good point that you say that because I took some shots. It wasn't like I was, just a walk in the park and just got her down and choked her. If you could see the mouse underneath my eye and the swelling that I had, I took some very heavy shots. And, I think that the main difference in this rematch is not even a difference. It's a similarity. I'm still going to take some shots. I'm still going to get in there. Me and Amanda are literally the two best fighters in the world. And I'm expecting to get hit. If you're not expecting to get hit, you're definitely in the wrong sport. I fist fight in a steel cage for a living. And I think that the most important thing is to, I don't want to desensitize anybody, but the fact is that I'm going to get hit and I'm going to go in there and it's the one who backs up and who can't take the shots that's going to be the loser. And I think that the most important thing is that I know what kind of will I have. I know what kind of chin I have. I know that adversity that I can face and the type of fighter that I am. And I am the wall that Amanda bashes up against when she realizes that she can't put me out with just one shot. And so I think that that's the main difference.
You mentioned the will, and that to me that's an important thing. And I like when you were slugging it out with her at that point, when we saw her knock so many people out, and that fight with Cyborg was just so amazing and so explosive. And you look at Chris, somebody that big, and Amanda's hitting her, and Chris finally wilted, right? So that's why I think everybody expected you to do the same thing. But is that what it is? The will? You referenced the will. Was it more up here than a physical thing that kept you on your feet and still throwing?
I definitely think that that's a great point. Your mentality, your brain, your positive self-talk, your mental state is so important in fighting. They say that it's like more mental than it is physical, and I absolutely agree with that. You have to know that you're the best. You have to know that you're going to win, and you can't be deterred by these negative demons that are trying to eat your brain every single night when the lights go out. You have to have the mental fortitude to beat that and to just be strong-minded and have that mental fortitude to go through anything, fight through that adversity, and know that I'm going to literally die in there if that's what I have to do, and I'm willing to do that. And if you're willing to do that, then you will be successful.
That is crazy. That is a crazy thing. When you had the rematch, you knew you were going to get the rematch because she had earned it with her, the long run that she was on and everything. But did you ever think of doing 45 just because saying, hey, now I'll get both belts, and if I beat her a second time?
I think that there's going to be there's people are going to get mad at me, and then there is a little bit of a flip side to there's girls that just obviously can't make 135, but for the most part the 45 division, which has two people in it, honestly, I really can't name more than two, is just girls in the 35 that don't want to cut weight, so then they just move up to 35. Then they had to create a whole nother division at 125 because Valentina couldn't beat Amanda 2 times. So then they went and cut weight and created a division for her to move down to 125. The real fights, the best fights are at 135. And I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but my main focus is staying at 35. Now that I've become the champion, I have opened up the door to a whole list of girls that, you know, are gunning at a shot at me. And that is what I wanted. That is what I called for. And I'm in this division to fight the best of the best. And so I got a lot of work to be done at 135 before I start, you know, being lazy and not wanting to make the weight class anymore.
I don't want to get make this sound more than it is, you know, but you're fighting in the main event. And of course, you know, Ronda Rousey's fought in the main event a number of times. And there have been women that have fought in the main event. But in title fights, it's rare that this happens, right? You see like Valentina fights a lot of times. She's that co-main and you have a male fight. The fact that they put you guys as the main event, that means that they expect you to deliver and put on a show, right? They want that main event. They don't want to have a 15-second injury, like, or the last 2 weeks, I guess there's some jinx on you guys, right? But they expect a show. And I imagine that you feel that honor of living up to that.
You know, I don't want to make the moment be bigger than what it is. And I can't be all like, oh my gosh, I'm the main event or anything like that. I'm just going to go get in that fight. Supposedly we're going to be fighting for 25 minutes. And that's just my main focus. If they put me first on the card, if they put me last on the card, it makes no difference to me. The most important thing is that I know what kind of fighter I am. And I know what kind of fighter Amanda is. And I know that no matter what, when that cage door closes, there will be sparks, there will be fireworks, and it's going to be a show no matter where we're at on the card. And with that being said, you know, I'm very honored, as a matter of fact, to be the main event. And it's an exciting time for me and I'm ready.
Do you feel you broke her last time? I mean, you know, a lot of people thought when she tapped that was a sign that mentally she broke. And this, you know, that once you break, then you never get back. How do you look at that?
Well, it's hard to say that I broke her because she's saying the whole time that she broke herself and that herself was, you know, she has, you know, 100 reasons why she lost to me that night. And there's all these excuses that she has. But I definitely think that anytime that you've gone to look back at any of Amanda's fights, you can see that when the going gets tough and if it's not going her way, she'll wilt and she'll quit. And I definitely think that that's what happened in my fight. It wasn't that she was tired. It wasn't that she was gassed. It was that, you know, I punched her and she didn't know where she was. And that resulted in her tapping out. And that's just, you know, me having a strong will and, you know, a never giving up type of an attitude.
I know you know, you can't plan these things, but I wonder, does it mean you have to start a little faster this time? Because if you start fast and let's say you whack her in the first 20, 30 seconds with a big shot, maybe it lets a little doubt creep in. And as you said before, a lot of this is mental, not physical. Do you think a quick start is imperative for you?
You know, I think that if you go back to any of Amanda's fights and look at her in the first round, that she is an explosive, powerful sprint type of an athlete, and that she is the most dangerous in the first round. I've never seen her lose a first round. And so I think that with that being said, you know, it doesn't matter. Like you said, you can't really, you know, predict the future on what's going to happen. I just know that whatever she brings, I will be ready for it and I will be able to react and to bring my own set of power. And I'll be ready for everything that comes my way.
How has life changed as a champion? I mean, you struggled around for a long time to get to the top. You know, you had some time off. You had a lot of things that happened in your life. Now that you're the champion, describe what that means to you, not just, you know, on Saturday night when they refer to you're the last to walk and they refer to you as the champion, but in your everyday life, how does it affect you?
Let's see. Sometimes when I'm with somebody that will name drop other than me, I get seated at a restaurant faster than having to wait for an hour and a half. So that's nice. Otherwise, in my regular day-to-day, I can tell you my 4-year-old doesn't give a hoot. And neither does any of the regular people that I'm around, that's around me either. You know, I remember when I came home, you know, for about the first hour, I was like, Mom, mac and cheese, you know, give me my water. And then like after the hour and a half was up, they're like, you got 2 legs, girl, get up and get it yourself, you know? So I like the fact that I have people that are around me to keep me humble and to keep me grounded. I think that's a really important aspect to have in my life, because at the end of the day, you know, MMA is still a growing sport. And
Yep.
when I go to regular places, it's like, no one knows who I am, but that's my job, is to go to these places so that they do know who I am, so that maybe I can get some more of that champ love. But it's a work in progress. I'm not satisfied to have won the first time. I still got a lot of work to do. And if I can do that on Saturday, maybe I can get some more people that will care about the sport and care about me. And maybe instead of just me getting sat first, I'll be able to get a free meal.
There, exactly. Now, maybe you get a Sports Center top 10 on Saturday night. You know what that would entail, right? Then who knows what free things you're going to get.
Yeah. Hey, if it's free, I want too.
Well, it's going to be free for me to watch this, and I'm going to be excited to see it. Julianna Peña is going to fight Amanda Nunes on Saturday in the main event of UFC 277. Julianna, always fun talking to you. The best of luck. Can't wait to see the fight on Saturday.
Thank you so much for the time, Kevin. I appreciate it. I'll see you later.
Be well, champ. See ya.